A telecom expert and CEO is sounding the alarm over what he says has become an existential threat. He's talking about China's infiltration of wireless equipment in the West and says it's already 5 minutes past midnight on the doomsday clock. NTD's Don Ma has more.
It's already 5 minutes past midnight. The West is going to lose. The Communist Party of China is going to win.
The warning comes from wireless industry veteran Declan Ganley. He says major Western telecom giants are shaping their networks under China's direction and called out big names like AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Deutsche Telekom, and Vodafone. He says the Chinese regime influenced them indirectly by making them dependent on Chinese financing. And once the companies rely on China, they're more likely to campaign to their governments on the regime's behalf.
So the Chinese use those mobile carriers, if you like, as kind of lobbying Trojan horses in order to get the Chinese equipment installed and deployed into these economies, whereas it's these carriers that are actually doing, so much of the lobbying and hard work for them to kick the door in and get them in.
Ganley explained this kind of lobbying has shown up several times in the West. One example comes from Germany and deals with Chinese telecom giant Huawei. Even before the German government allowed Huawei 5G equipment to be used in the country, Deutsche Telekom was already deploying it.
Deutsche Telekom was deploying it anyway. And they did it because they were confident enough, supremely confident, that they would get their way. And the only way that companies of that size have that degree of confidence is because they know that ultimately they can get the regulatory state to do their bidding. Otherwise, they wouldn't take the risks of deploying all that Chinese 5G technology before the government had officially made its decision. In other words, Deutsche Telekom made the decision for Germany and just made sure that the state followed through and ratified that decision by formalizing it after the fact.
Ganley says none of these companies want to upset Chinese leader Xi Jinping and risk being denied access to the Chinese market. He points out that the submissive attitude towards China is not acceptable, especially as the regime continues to ramp up aggression.
And you know what? If these companies want to sell their souls in order to get access to the Chinese market, that's up to them. But we certainly should not be allowing them to shape our policies in Western countries in a way that is benefiting the plans of the Communist Party of China. And that's what is happening. And it is doing so much damage to the West's positioning in technology, in communications, in artificial intelligence, that if it is not reversed really quickly, we are going to lose. The West is going to lose. The Communist Party of China is going to win.
He says the regime does not want a middle ground or a mutual coexistence.
Look at Hong Kong. Look at the Uyghurs. We don't have to speculate about what they are going to do. We already know. So we have to tackle this now. It's already 5 minutes past midnight. There is no more time for...
Declan Ganley's built businesses across the European Union, Russia, and the United States. He is currently the CEO of US-based telecom company Rivada Networks. Don Ma, NTD News.